Okay, so here we are again. Last week we started by creating a little biped and we looked at some of the structure for this biped. So if you weren't here, you really should go back and do last week's video. But if you were here, you'll be familiar with creating your biped, then moving into the motion panel, and then activating the figure mode. And within the figure mode you can modify the structure of the biped. And then once we did that, we created some footsteps last week, and this week we're going to do some footsteps, but we're going to do it in a more controlled fashion, and we're going to get the character to walk on the spot in a controlled way. Okay, there's a few little steps in here, so just take your time and follow it kind of like quite carefully and slowly. Okay, here we go. So got our character ready to go into footstep mode, and here in footstep mode make sure it's on walk, and we're going to create just 6 footsteps will do it. So just 6 footsteps is enough, and of course nothing happens until we come out of footstep mode. And where's our little sorry, I missed that. There it is. Sorry, inside footstep mode, let's create the keys for the inactive footsteps. Once that's been clicked, our character will commence the walk. Okay, I'm just going to use my left view to do the rest of the tutorial. I've got a little bit of a problem with my right, I can't quite get the mouse to do what I want it to do, but okay. That looks like a decent view. Okay, so we've created our footsteps, we've made our inactive keyframes, so our character now walks. That looks good. We can now come out of the footstep mode, and from here we're going to select the character, put our auto key on. I can't quite get it to be visual for you. I don't know why that's not hiding, but anyway, put the auto key on, which I've done, and we're going to convert those footsteps. So click that, make sure this is unticked because we don't want to create a keyframe per frame at this point, so just convert to freeform for the time being. Okay, our character's still moving as we'd expect, and what we're looking for is somewhere about frame 30, where the rear foot is planted well and the leading foot is just being lifted off the ground. Oh, here's the pussycat to join me. Come on, over you go. Good boy. I haven't got the video on, so you can't quite see him. Don't sit on my mouse. That's it. 1 second, I've just got to pause. He's going where he shouldn't be going. 2 secs. Okay, cat issues resolved. Here he comes, sitting down now beside my mouse. That's fine. Okay, so what am I going to do now? So I've converted those frames, and now what I'm going to do is inside the inside the key info, I'm going to find that good frame at about frame 30, and I'm going to click set key. That's important, and that allows me to get rid of anything before 30. And now I'm going to go for a similar key at about frame 60, about there, and I'm going to hit the set key again. Looks good. Now I should be able to get rid of everything after 60 without disrupting my character. So there's the little walk cycle that we're going to be using. Looks good. Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, so now that we've got our 30 frame animation, little walk cycle, we want to turn off our auto key, and we want to adjust the length of the animation. If I can just hide my taskbar, dear oh dear, I need to just refresh. Potentially, no, still can't get to it. Okay, one sec. Pause this for a second. Okay, I'm just going to sort that out. We're just going to go to time configuration. And my animation lasts for 30 frames, so let's adjust the time end point. There we go. And my character should now have those little frames. Well, what we got, oh, didn't quite do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that down to there. Didn't do that before, to 0. It should be 0 to 30 frames. Now adjust the time configuration. Apologies, did that the wrong way around. So, okay, now our timeline is 30 frames long and our character, I didn't mean to move that either. Our character starts and stops at 30. There we go. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to click this little button here that says in place mode. Make sure that's active. If you don't see it, it's hidden underneath modes and display. So inside your biped, modes and display, click this little button that says in place mode. Click that and let's see your character walk. Now you can tell there's a little tiny, it's not bad to be honest, the start and end frames are pretty close. It might not be the same with your animation, there might be slight little variations between the first and the last frame, but we're going to sort that out with a little copy and paste routine. Okay, so let's turn that off. Let's go to the beginning, turn our Alt key on, and inside copy and paste we're going to make sure that it's on pose, we're going to make sure that it's on vertical, we're going to create a new collection and we're going to copy that very first pose and we're going to go all the way to frame 30 and we're going to then paste that pose. And there, depending on how good your original alignment is, there will or won't be a significant change, but there might be a little change. Yeah, do you see that little tiny change? Okay, so now if I just turn my Alt key off to watch this in action, my model is looking pretty good in terms of first and last steps. It's a fluid walk, there's no kind of jumping, looks pretty good. Okay, so we got our little character walking on the spot. I want to convert those footsteps, so just click that and choose generate keyframe per frame in this instance. Okay, got nice bunch of keyframes now available to us. Everything's been converted down, that's great. Now, okay, so he's walking on the spot. But the problem is, if I turn this in place mode button off, he walks forward. And what I want to do is refine his walking action on the spot without using that in place mode button. So we're going to use, we're going to create some layers. So here we go. Alt key on, and I'm going to look for my layers button. If yours isn't already available, just slide your command panel out to the left to see all the available options. And I'm going to create a new layer. There it is. And I'm just going to go to the beginning, so right back to 0, and I'm just going to move my character back a little bit to about there, pretty much on 0. So there's my character moved, and I'm going to copy the pose both vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to copy that pose, I'm going to go all the way to 30, I'm going to paste the pose. Okay, so now I've got my new animation and my old animation. My new animation's walking on the spot, my old animation is walking forward. And you'll notice that the in place mode button is turned off. Okay, now at this point I can, inside my layers, I can add new layers and add additional animations to my character, or I can just collapse it for the time being, just everything back down to one layer, and that's what we're going to do at this point. Later on we can add additional layers and we can add additional complexity to our character. So we just click the collapse button and you'll see that the two animations become one again. I've got my in place button off, I've got my auto key off, and my character's now doing a nice little walk cycle on the spot. Let's have a little look at him. Looking nice. And we've done quite a few things there. We've been looking at copying and pasting poses. We've been converting keyframes. We've been using the key info and creating set keys, so as well as using a layer. So all in all, we've managed to create a nice little on-the-spot walking cycle that we can now add to and modify as we see fit. Okay, I think that'll do for the moment. That's a 10-minute, just over a 10-minute video. Let's have a look at that.
Copy and paste options. Okay. I copy and paste both horizontal and vertical position. So I select both arrows, click copy, go to the end, paste. Okay. So now my character working in the same place. So that's my new animation, that's my old animation. Next, I can go and collapse both layers. Or I can add more layers to it. So if you want to make additional adjustments, maybe add a little bit of movement to the head, I can add more layers. So I collapse for now. Okay. You can see that the in-place mode is off. And I play my animation and I have my character walking in one